What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Stardust here. Welcome back to another video, and today we are talking about the dev stream that happened last night. You know, I like to go through the dev streams, we like to talk about them a little bit. This stream was very raid orientated, which is obviously really cool. It's nice that we're able to get to a point in Avengers now where I can actually say a dev stream was raid orientated. I would like to thank Jazzy Butters for writing up the notes for this, and I'm going to go through them, and then right at the very end, I'll give my thoughts in general. So, in today's dev stream, we had Andy, Phil, and Mike, who is a game system director for the game. They're bringing the events and community activities back, like Red Room and the Cargo Synthoid spawn rate, for an example, because quite a bit of people liked them. They brought it back so people get it, try it again, and in case anyone missed it the first time round. I personally believe that I understand that. It's just that for players that have had their fill, it is a very boring, process. And they're called the Claw Raid a raid because it's different. It's a completely new boss with brand new pieces, new enemies, and a mini boss at the start, etc. The mini boss is probably going to be Crossbones, just to be completely honest. I like the fact that they have completely stamped their foot, saying this will be all new. They said that with Wakanda, and it was to an extent. So I believe them that this is definitely going to be a really unique piece of content. Echoes, the new enemies that you saw on the roadmap, are created by Claw. These are made specifically for the raid. They might be used somewhere else later, not just in the raid, but for now they're specific to the raid, which is really cool. The Claw Raid is coming with the gear upgrading system. So if you guys remember in my roadmap video, I said that there was a very good chance that the gear upgrading system would be the following month because the way it was set up on the roadmap. That's not the case. It is coming with the raid, which is at least, I can sort of take away that complaint that I had from that video. The power increase, they wanted to make sure all gear can be moved forward with the new power cap, which is 175. With the new upgrading system, if you have a lower level gear, then you need to consume higher level gear in order to upgrade it. A fusion system, if you will, but there aren't double the stats. So that's pretty cool. I do remember to Paul Tassi mentioning in a couple of articles that they did mention some form of fusion system, so I don't think this should come as a surprise to anybody. The raid will have new gear with some new perks. In terms of re-rolling, they gave a very vague and roundabout answer about it. This is true. It seemed that it's something that hopefully they can do in the future, because I do believe that gear re-rolling would alleviate a lot of the problems that this game's gear does actually have. They're going to be working on the gear for a long time, though, and even after when the upgrade system is done, they want to make it the best they can. So, I mean, at least they're always pushing, but at the end of the day, we need to know what that end goal is with gear, right? There's so many perks like damage buff and tachyon surge that completely negate any other gear pieces because they're so strong as is, right? So what's the point in going for another gear piece if you can have gear that has those pieces on? So hopefully they work something out with that soon. Currently, the reason why patrol mode and cloning labs, which I have said in the roadmap video should be just completely scrapped, is mainly because the Claw Raid, Spider-Man, and other things like the gear rework are the main priority right now, and they really put their resources into the raid. So here's the thing, I've said this before and I'll say it again, it doesn't seem like they've given a lot of resources for this game. It's a shame because I genuinely believe that they could use, just a bit more help, and that would help get things out a lot more, but they are stuck with the cards they're dealt with. Fragments will be a scaling cost for upgrading gear, and they'll be very important for gear in the future. Of course, people speculate, and rightfully so, that this has something to do with the fragment boosters that have been added to the marketplace. That would be quite a shame if they decide to just rework all these systems for the sake of the fragment boosters, but that's probably the case. Spider-Man is here to stay once he releases. Just because he comes with an event doesn't mean he's on PlayStation for a limited time, which is a shame. It would have been nice to had some weird confirmation there, but I doubt we would have been able to get that on there. The cosmetic rework has now turned into just earnable cosmetics. They are discussing how to bring patterns back. I extremely dislike this. The reason being is because you've taken out patterns and your idea is just to bring them back. It definitely feels like you've just decided to give that gap so you could sell as many skins as possible without anyone actually earning any free rewards. So hopefully, if they bring patterns back, it's drastically different than the system we had previously. This is the roadmap for the rest of the year. The raid will wrap up things and events that happened in Wakanda, so the story of it. Then the raid is supposed to be the most Avengers-worthy piece of content, aka the most dynamic. So obviously, I would think we could all agree that A-Day and the final mission in the main campaign is probably the most Avengers feeling, so I look forward to seeing how this raid kind of levels with that. There is more content coming next year. We have a lot of plans, more heroes, more villains, more content overall, which is nice. Hopefully we get to see that roadmap soon, because at the minute I think a lot of people are expecting Spider-Man to be the last hero we ever receive. There will be more MCU outfits for this year, and another one seems to be coming very close by. Andy actually almost revealed that, but he managed to stop himself, which was a shame. It's a shame that we didn't just push him to do it. We're talking about tweaking Sonic and Vibranium gear. We got a very roundabout answer, so who knows? Maybe. Personally, I don't think Vibranium gear needs a fix. I think Sonic is absolutely fine. I just don't want it to be nerfed, to be completely honest, because they're really strong pieces. The only thing Sonic that I would probably change is when enemies hit you with it, right? That really terrible effect that you get. This Claw Raid will be 4 players. So that's confirmation for people who wanted to play as more people, with more people. Comic-based outfits. There will still be more skins of variety coming. In the future, they might update existing hero skills, but there are no announcements today. They are working on more than what's on the roadmap. When their release is TBD. Improving photo mode is something they're discussing. Loadouts, all Mike did was laugh. Now, I've seen people mention this, and personally, I think it was just a very ill-timed laugh, and I think it was more just like, oh, a loadouts question, haha. I don't think it was like, you know, fuck you, you're not getting loadouts kind of thing. Patrol mode and cloning labs are things they'll talk about later, which makes me roll my eyes, to be completely honest. Any more villain sectors? Not currently. It's all hands on deck for the raid. Echoes are sound constructs that aren't robots, which is nice, and they have a role to play in the raid. From this, it seems like they would be used for more than just fighting. And then they talk about the development process a little bit, which is quite, you know, it's quite long. I mean, you know, if you guys want to, you know, see the full notes that Jazzy has written, I will leave a link down in the description below, or I will put it in the comments section so that you guys can have a read through. Internally, they have dates for a lot of things, and then they have testing, and then they have to get stuff signed off, talk to Marvel, and etc. It's a long process, and when they see soon, or when we can, that means when they get approval and all of that. Expect to see more MCU tie-ins, for example, the Hawkeye stuff, which is good. I mean, don't get me wrong, a nameplate isn't exactly going to lit the world on fire, but it's nice to see a bit of a dynamic team-up between Marvel's Avengers and Disney+. With the gear goal, they want to make it so gear gives you more reliability and more direction, so it's like, I need this, so I have to do this kind of thing. Less random, more clear, and more focus. And I suppose we did see that with Wakanda, to be fair, because obviously there's a Wakanda farm for that faultless buff gear piece, but again, it's that damage buff, you know, it's crazy. Thor is definitely getting his cape fix for the MCU skins. The elite version of the Claw Raid is one of the examples of having mechanics take the stage more than just level and power scaling. That's good. Difficulty should not be based on just number, it should be based on how difficult the actual content is. One last thing, Spider-Man is a permanent exclusive. End of story, completely bish bash bosh, that is how it is. And that was to be expected. You know, if you bought the game, remember they announced it in August, if you bought the game on another console and are still shocked that Spider-Man isn't exclusive, then at the end of the day, yes, it sucks, but maybe pay more attention to Twitter. That's probably the only advice I can give you with that one. So those are most of the notes, pretty much all of it, anything of worth noting anyway. Let me know what you guys thought of the dev stream. I thought it was fine. I mean, it explained a good bit about what the roadmap was like, it explained a little bit about the process, you know, and what the raid's going to be like. So it was good to see that they, you know, it's good to hear that they still seem excited about the content. I will see you guys later, and peace.